Welcome, everybody. Look, on today's show, we are honored to welcome a true visionary in both the tech and tech and entertainment industries. He is the founder of Urban World, which is a groundbreaking film festival that celebrates narrative and documentary features. It has short films, web originals, music videos, and it does spotlight screenings, conversations, and live stage play readings from people of color.
Mm.
He is also the celebrated author of Black Founder, The Hidden Power of Being an Outsider, where he shares his journey as a Black entrepreneur navigating Silicon Valley and building a company that changed the way we see films. In addition, his innovative contribution in the music industry and his influential work with Miramax have further cemented his legacy as a creative force. Plus, I can go on and on. He's the co-founder and CEO of MoviePass, which is a revolutionary subscription service that disrupted the traditional movie-going experience. He is a trailblazer, he is a storyteller, and he is a force at the intersection of innovation and culture. Today, we welcome the man, the myth, and the legend, Mr. Stacy Spikes. Woo!
Wait, who are you describing?
You, sir,
Did you
you.
did you use ChatGPT to come up with all of that? Because that's a
Well,
lot of stuff.
I did not. I did not. What I did with ChatGPT is I checked the grammar, but most of
Uh,
that is mine. Yeah, I used Grammarly, which is the
yes,
thing,
yes.
not
Mm.
ChatGPT, but I used Grammarly to check the grammar, but most of that stuff was me.
Well, thank you for that beautiful introduction. That is wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Oh, of course. And welcome to Black Geek Energy.
Thank you.
So, tell us, we like to start off with just learning a little bit about the ins and out of you. So, tell
Yeah.
us, how has your previous week been?
Oh boy. We've got some new products that we're launching coming out of the Movie
Mm-hmm.
Pass universe. And
Mm.
so that's really exciting. And so I've been doing a lot of interviews for that. I had Business Insider and Inc. Magazine and TechCrunch were just yesterday. And so have been very, very, very busy with that. So that's what's been taking up most of my time. There is a tech conference called Token 2049, which is in Dubai,
Oh,
and that's at the end of the month. And so we've been prepping for that. Yeah, so it's busy, busy, busy. And people are going to the movies. And so had a huge weekend with Minecraft and
yes.
seeing the numbers go crazy with that. And just, there is a huge, huge, huge summer between Mission Impossible, between the Superman coming, between
Mm.
Thunderbolts.
Formula One
Mm-hmm.
and Thunderbolts, which is in 2 weeks. And so a
Mhm.
lot of stuff coming, which we're very,
Wow.
very excited. Sinners is next week.
Yes. Yes.
That's
I'm
the one
going to
I
see
was
that.
waiting
And
on you to say.
yeah,
I've been waiting on that
Sinners
movie.
is next week, and you got Warfare this weekend. You got The Amateur this weekend. Like
Mhm.
anybody who thinks stuff is slowing down in the movie industry is poorly mistaken. It's hot.
Yes. Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Very
So,
cool.
so tell us now. You mentioned Movie Pass Mogul, and we're going to talk about that later on.
Yeah.
But were you expecting the hype from the Minecraft movie? It has really gotten rave ratings.
It's crazy. So I went to see it, and it's just one of those quirky movies, and Jack Black steals the show, and
Mm,
there's
Mhm.
these
Mhm.
hidden Easter eggs with some of the characters that kids just lose their minds about, and it's like, so it's fun. That's what makes movie going so special. A lot of people don't understand. They like to compare it to Netflix, and seeing something with 500 or 200 people is really different than sitting in your house
Mm-hmm.
or watching something on your phone.
Hmm.
And from I remember when I was when I I went to see Beyonce's concert film,
Yes.
and there's that the when she does the song Uncle Johnny,
Mm-hmm.
and when all the fans came out, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
what the,
Yep.
you know, I mean, and so it's like movie going and cinema is the live event of the movie industry, and it
Mm-hmm.
is it's like go see when you go see Nope or you go see a horror film, it's like you can't do that in your house. You got to
Yeah.
be with
Hmm.
a bunch of other people screaming and
Yeah.
yelling. That's the best part is all right, can I
Go
curse on
ahead. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
so anyway,
absolutely. You are free.
I went to see what was Demi's film? The Substance.
Yes.
Mhm.
And the substance ends. And this dude stood up in the theater and says, "What the hell was that we just saw?" And
Yeah.
everybody broke out laughing. And that's the point. It's like you're seeing stuff with people, and it just makes it so much better. The audience is half the fun, and
Yeah.
so I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. That's always been like my favorite part of the movies, like going to the movies and you can tell everybody's feeling the exact same thing you're feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Like
yeah,
everybody gasp at the same
yeah,
time. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
Can't beat it.
absolutely.
so what are some of your best movie going experience? I remember mine was, of course, Avengers Up Game. Endgame is up
Yeah,
there.
Mm.
yeah, yeah.
But I remember seeing Paranormal Activity when it came out.
Oh,
And, it was weeks of it going higher and higher in the box office, but it was only in a select area. And
yeah.
then finally it came
Mhm.
to where I was at. So me and my friend went out to see it. We were in a crowded theater and we couldn't sleep for that night. And I couldn't sleep with the lights off for 2 weeks. So it was like, but I think that if I would have seen that in my home, I would have been, scared, but I wouldn't have been
Yeah,
like terrified for
yeah.
2 weeks that I was at. So what are some of
Mm.
your most favorite movie going experiences?
You know, horror, there's horror like gore horror, like
Mhm.
Terrorizer, one, two,
Mm-hmm.
three, like that stuff I can watch. But the supernatural stuff that's kind of like ghost in the house, supernatural, the paintings, the pictures are moving on the wall. That's the kind of stuff after I see the movie, I kind of walk back in the house and like, was that picture there? Always and you hear something and you got flashlights going. Every time I see one of those movies, especially if it takes place in a house
Mm-hmm.
and it's supernatural, man, I'm sleeping with my flashlight.
Mhm.
I got a knife with me.
Yeah.
So I went and saw this true story. I went and saw this is years ago. I don't even remember what the film was. And we went and did an Airbnb rental up in Maine, and we went off
Uh-oh.
season. So we're in the house, and I saw it was one of those M. Night Shyamalan kind of films. And
Uh-huh.
I'd seen it like a few days before. So we went and rented this place.
Mm-mm.
And I kid you, so you're not in your own environment where you know where stuff is.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And I remember there was these my wife and I were in this bed and it had these bay doors that open, and I
Uh-oh.
remember I would close the bay doors and I would get in the bed and the doors go, and I had to get back up and pull
Oh
and I'd
no.
latch it back in and it'd be like and it was like something was saying I want these doors open, and I'm like don't want to wake my wife up. And so I went in the kitchen and I got me a knife and, and I went and closed the doors again. I swear I heard footsteps go. And I was like, oh,
Mm-mm.
oh no. I put the
Yeah.
light on. My wife's like, why are you putting the light on? It's like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Hmm.
And that's what horror movies do to me. So I can't say it's my most fun experience because
Mm-hmm.
just like you said, I have this residue from those types of films. It just messes with me. Are the ones where I live in New York.
Hmm.
You can go damn near any part of New York and there's lights
Yeah.
24 hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's times where you're walking down the street or you're down in the subway and it's late and you're like, what was that? You know, and you
Yeah.
just and it makes New York crazy. Like it might have been a little a rat that big. Your brain turns it into something that
Yeah.
big.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I love. I think the other thing that I really love is when you go and you see like Dune on IMAX,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like you understand there's no artistic medium like this. There is
Mm-hmm.
no the way and what's really dope is when you read the book and there's all these interpretations of what it could be like and you see the sounds and you see how they're walking in the sand and the blue eyes and you're just like God, this is amazing what human beings can do
Yeah.
with imagination.
Hmm.
And so there's a saying I really love. People who like films have favorites. People who love the movies can't possibly. And I love that saying because I there's so many different experiences, like when Godzilla Zero Minus One happened,
Mm.
and when I saw Moonlight,
Oh
when
yeah.
I saw Moonlight, Moonlight, first, you rarely get black love on the
Mm-hmm.
on the screen, true beautiful black
Yep.
love. Like when Halle won the Oscar, it was like, yeah, but we're still it's that black love that just has so much pain in it when
Yep.
she won.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw Moonlight, it was such a beautiful film. And
Yep.
when he comes and he puts the plate of food in him and
Mm.
the way he just had his hand on his
Talk
shoulder,
about it.
it
Talk
was
about
like
it.
it was just like so moving to see us with such gentle beauty on the screen, which that was new. It was like, we were thugs and gangsters, or you got to be
Mm-hmm.
Sidney Poitier. Like it was all these things in between. And Moonlight was a really big change in just simple, beautiful love between people on
Mm-hmm.
screen. And it was, um, so I have 1,000 experiences that I can dive into those things because this medium is such a beautiful art form that changes your soul.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing.
Moonlight is one of my favorites. Because I have seen um, gay people before. I've seen indie
Mhm.
films in with starring Black gay people. I've seen Punks, which, hey,
Yeah.
who was the executive
Hey,
producer of
yeah.
Punks?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
We
yeah,
can talk about that a little
yeah,
bit later
yeah,
too.
yeah.
But yeah, Moonlight was special because it showed gay people being real,
Hmm.
and Black gay people being real. So,
But what to me, what was beautiful about it, I'm a straight man. My wife and I have been married for, 20,
mm,
24 years. And
congratulations.
thank you.
Congratulations. Yeah.
And the beautiful thing is, I felt when I saw Moonlight, that movie was about me too.
Okay.
That movie was, it's kind of like if you're gay watching a straight love story and you feel like, well, that love story embodies my life.
Mm-hmm.
What I felt was so universal about Moonlight was I didn't feel like it was a gay film.
Oh.
I
Mm.
felt that it was a film about love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like, oh, it's how there was a period of time where it was, oh, that's a black movie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then there was this point where our blackness became so much part of the American story that it became, well, that's a movie
Mm.
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
happens to have black characters.
Yeah.
It no longer was just the black movie. And Moonlight did that. Moonlight was a love story between two people, and it was
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
So it's such a great medium, and I love it. I love it. I love it.
But the best thing about Moonlight is that it beat La La Land in the Oscars in historic fashion because I couldn't even make it through La La Land after 30 minutes. I
Yeah.
couldn't. Okay.
Yes, yes,
That
yes.
wasn't it. I didn't see La La Land, but I definitely saw Moonlight, and
Yeah,
it was really good.
yeah.
So, Demarcus, wait, what's your favorite movie going experience?
My favorite movie going experience, it's either I think it might be like the first Avengers movie because I just
Mm,
remember going into that. I remember being super excited about it. I remember going in that theater and everyone, and it was like the first movie of its kind.
yeah.
Mm.
Like it's sort of like transformed the superhero genre, and like everyone, kind of like I was saying earlier, everyone in the movie theater was having like these audible reactions
Hmm.
all together, all at once. We're all reacting to
Yeah,
the same thing. We're all laughing together. We're all
yeah,
like
yeah.
gasping together. We're all surprised at the same time, and it was one of those where like the movies, even though it's like this real public experience, like it's still very private. Like you come with your friends, you're only talking to your friends, but at a certain point in that movie, it got to a point where like we were all kind of realized we were there together. So you're
Hmm.
like talking to strangers, like, did you see that? Like I would never have done that.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. No, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful
Yeah.
thing. I
Okay.
don't know if you guys know this fact,
Mm,
but
Mhm.
did you know that people go to the movies 10 times more than all sporting events combined?
I
Shut
believe it.
the front door.
So,
I believe
real
it.
stats in the US, hockey, soccer, football, baseball, and basketball
Hmm.
combined are 120 million tickets sold every year.
Mm,
Movies are 1 billion tickets sold every year.
yeah.
Wow. So movies outdo them
10
by a
times.
lot.
10 times combined. Did you know that the
Crazy.
average number one film that opens like the Avengers or one of the major films,
Hmm.
its attendance in 3 days is more people than the entire NFL season.
Oh, wow.
One movie,
The front door.
one movie. That's the thing that people beat up on. Like there was a tweet that came out that Ted Sarandos, the CEO over at Netflix, said, cinema's going down and all this other
Hmm.
stuff. And people have predicted the end of cinema 5 times. They said when television came out, cinema was going to die.
Hmm.
When VHS came out, when
Hmm.
DVD came out, when cable came out, and streaming, they've all said cinema was going to die.
Hmm.
And the thing that's so odd when you have the CEO of Netflix making that comment, I I think they misunderstand that he's in the television business.
Hmm.
Movie going is like akin to concerts. It's the live event of the movie
Hmm.
industry.
Right.
And you can't compare listening to uh uh uh, uh you know a Prince album in your room
Hmm.
to seeing Prince play live,
Yeah.
right? They,
Oh,
they're
absolutely.
not they're not the same. You can't put them in the same bucket. One is a form of distribution, and the other one is an experience. And seeing a
Hmm.
movie like we're talking about with a room full of people is an experience, and you can't
Hmm.
put that on this. You
Uh-huh.
can't. That's
Yeah.
not the same thing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah. I got the sound system at home, and still movies just don't hit the same when I watch them at
Yeah.
just it's
Hmm.
yeah, yeah.
that's a
Okay,
little.
Demarcus, you were about to say something. I'm sorry, I cut you off a while ago.
Uh, yeah. Well, I wanted to. I know that we usually try to do like a get to know you segment when we have
Yeah.
new guests on. We could look you up. We could, but since we have you here in front of us, we figure we might as well ask. So like, where you can tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, where are you from? Like,
Okay.
what got you started? Like, what was your first job, and then how did it kind of get you
Ooh.
Oh
here?
boy, you're going way back.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So I'm originally from Houston, Texas, born and
Nice.
raised. And
What ward?
we were next to, so if we were the south part of town, just below where the Astrodome, it's now Minute Maid sits there, but
Uh-huh.
just
Mm.
below that.
Okay.
So next to us was Third Ward to the right, and Fifth Ward
Okay.
was next to that.
Okay.
Okay,
So,
okay.
um, and so the born and raised, and I kid you not, it was just a different time where every Saturday, so my mother would drop my brother off at the theater, go run her errands, and pick us back up like 4 hours later. And so every Saturday, that was our babysitter. Like from as
Mm.
little as I can remember, she gave us money for, you know, a little hot dog and soda and some
Hmm.
popcorn, and she gave us some each enough. It was easier than, say, getting a babysitter or us slowing her down with
Hmm.
her having to drag us everywhere. So every Saturday from when we were little, we would, I'm saying maybe 10 years old, and it was
Yeah.
just a different time that you could do that with kids. Today, she'd
Hmm.
probably be taken to jail.
Yeah,
You did
precisely.
what?
Right.
You just left your
Precisely.
kids at a theater
By
with with
themselves?
$10, you know.
In a dream.
So yeah, exactly. But she would walk in, she'd get the ticket, she would talk to the manager. The managers knew us.
Ooh.
And it was like Town and Country 8, I think was the theater. It was a Cineplex back then.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And that was every Saturday. And so I grew up that was your Saturday routine. And as I got older, movies didn't they always were special, but I never was like, "Ooh, I want to work in there." And it wasn't
Mhm.
until I saw the first Blade Runner. I
Mm.
was 11 years old, and my it was a rated R film, and I
Hmm.
begged my parents to let me see it. I had seen Star Wars, I'd seen other things. There was
Hmm.
something about this film that I wanted to see because I loved reading sci-fi.
Mhm.
And when you guys reached out and I was like, Black Geek Podcast, I'm like, I was a Black Geek. Um, so I was reading Tom Swift, I was reading
Okay.
Asimov, I was a huge comic book collector. I was a
Okay.
big
Mhm.
X-Men, Black Panther,
Let's go.
Spider-Man. That was me in my room. And then even Star Wars was dope, don't get me
Hmm.
wrong.
Yeah.
But man, when I saw Blade Runner, and Blade Runner took its time, so it moved at a different pace that lets Star Wars was so fast, everything was
Hmm.
fast. You just was like, yeah, yeah. But Blade Runner, they dragged on a cigarette, and I didn't know that style was called, film noir. That
Yep.
was that noir, you
Yeah.
know, beat cop, the backstory. I'm a cop on the beat, and this is that kind of setup. I didn't know about that, and I saw that film, and at 11 years old, Rice University had a summer screenwriting class, and
Ooh.
I begged my parents to let me take it. My feet sitting in the desk didn't touch the floor,
Mm.
and I was taking a college screenwriting class, and they let me in. And that was where the teacher was
Hey,
talking about, bless you.
thank you.
The teacher was talking about the good character, the bad character, the white hat, the black hat, the Western style, and I started learning structure and all of this stuff. But it was Blade Runner that made me want to be in the business. I said, whether I'm acting, writing, directing, whatever, I want to do that. I want to do, I want to make worlds like that.
Mm.
Um, so then I ended up going, as I came up through school, I ended up going to the first video stores were starting to show up. So the record
Oh.
stores were transitioning. So you'd have half of them were like VHS tapes and half was records.
Mhm.
So it was Sound Records off the 10 freeway. That was like my first entertainment job.
Okay.
And I worked in the video store. And so you started, people would walk in and there was the new release wall, but you were the one that people said, "What should I watch?" So
Mm.
you
Mm.
kind of had to be on your game. And there were cats in the store that were like, "Well, if you saw the 1956 version of blah blah blah, or did you see the original Metropolis, which was from
Yeah.
1932?" And I wanted to be one of those guys in the
Hmm.
video store that like knew
Yeah.
everything. And so I would just watch and watch and watch and watch and I would ask these cats, "What do and you kind of became like a category expert. And I wasn't the goth girl who knew everything about horror. I
Hmm.
wasn't the cheerleader who knew everything about 16 candles and all this other
Hmm.
stuff. But
Hmm.
I started really loving sci-fi and action and adventure and all of this other stuff and the gaming um and and I just fell in love with it. And then I moved to LA and I got a job at Motown actually when Barry Gordy had sold it to Universal.
Mm.
And I ended up on this different trajectory where I became Boyz II Men's product manager.
Crazy.
And so that was my first group. And then by the time I didn't go to college.
Hmm.
And so by the time I was 21, I had Boyz II Men, Eddie Murphy, Queen Latifah, and I was doing all of Spike Lee's soundtracks.
Crazy.
And so I'm as I was either the same age or slightly younger than the guys in Boyz II Men, and it's like
Hmm.
we broke Elvis Presley's record at number one with End of the Road. I
Hmm.
did all of the marketing for that, and it was just insane. Like I'm a kid and I'm doing this stuff, and then I went to Sony and I did the soundtrack for Bad Boys with Will and
Oh.
Martin. So we had the number one single, the
Hmm.
number one video, the number one soundtrack, and the number one movie all at the same time.
Yes.
And that was the first film where Will and Martin were actually these two TV stars. They weren't
Hmm.
film stars yet, and
Right.
they were trying to break out of their TV shows. And Martin came out of comedy,
Hmm.
and Will came out of music. But they both had, the black TV shows at the time. There was so many of them, and
Hmm.
um, and then one thing led to another, and then when I got to Miramax, it was like I did The Crow, I did Train Spotting, I did Scream. My first
Hmm.
movie was Scream, and so I did marketing on all of those. And then I started Urban World. It was like I wanted to make the Black Can Film Festival.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so we built that and then we spun Movie Pass off out of Urban World and here we are today.
Here
Man.
So
we are today. Wow.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a
Crazy.
that's a crazy trajectory. So you've been like working in movies from the start. Like you've always known this is what I'm gonna do.
As a category, I just love it. It's like I tell people I have the best job in the world. I don't work for a living. I play for a living. We play
Yeah.
hard, but it's like when you look at people who work in the film industry, you can be in your 90s and be working.
Hmm.
And it's constantly always changing. It goes back. I tell people you walk into a room, the lights go down, and this beam of light comes out from behind you, and you ride the light. You literally ride the light. You ride light particles across all space and time. You can go back to primordial Earth. You can go forward in time as far as you can imagine. And it's limitless in its possibilities to the human mind.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And what else does that? Like that is you can time travel. Here's Interstellar, here's Jurassic Park,
Yeah.
here's Blade Runner, here's Star Wars, here's Battlestar Galactica, here's Dune, set on the planet. You remember in Star Wars they had the dual suns of I forgot the
Oh,
planet that they're on.
Tatooine.
Tatooine, thank you.
Hmm.
Okay, Demarcus.
It was in a movie before they discovered dual star systems. It was like
Wow.
we hadn't even known there were dual star systems, and they just put it as a cute effect in the film. There are
Right.
dual star systems where there are two suns in the sky. It's like
Yes.
that's the stuff that's crazy. It's like
Yeah.
the human mind imagining things, and then the way we dive into our own stories.
Mhm.
It's like when you see something like Beautiful Mind, or you see Remember the Titans, or you see uh, us over conquering impossible odds of something, like whether it's about Everest or climbing, the one that doc where the guy was climbing up that sheer cliff that goes straight up, and they're camping on the side of a cliff. I mean, it's like when you die and go to heaven, I think you actually go sit in the movie theater because because it's like, so it's wild to me. And when you see a person who has such presence, when ever I see that scene in Glory where
Mhm.
Denzel goes up to that thing and is looking at the camera, and that whip is like in Glory where it's like,
Hmm.
Yeah.
and he's just like, and that tear starts coming down his face, and he's just looking at you like, go ahead, I got you. You can try and beat me, you will not break me.
Mm.
Um, Man, stop. Just
Yeah.
stop. I don't work for a living.
Yeah,
I play. I have the best job in the world.
that's
Everybody wants to be
amazing.
me.
I know I do.
Right.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, so this is the part of the show called the Put You On segment. And what we do
Mhm.
is
Oh
we,
wait, I got a bad connection. I can't hear you.
oh,
What? I'm
uh,
just kidding.
I was like, oh no.
When you're like, this is the part where we put you. I'm like, oh, look at the time.
No, no, it's not that bad. So, what we
Okay.
usually do for the Put You On segment is we usually, put our listeners on to anything
Okay.
in movies, TV, books, other podcasts,
Yeah.
any
Mhm.
form of media.
Okay.
And this segment is sponsored by Movie Pass. So,
Yay.
Awesome. Awesome.
Demarcus, can you please tell our listeners about Movie Pass?
Of course, of course. And Stacey, if I leave anything out, please feel free to jump in.
Absolutely.
So, MoviePass is a subscription-based service that allows users to watch like multiple movies per month for a monthly fee. It was designed to make movie going like more accessible for people like me, people like you, people like Stacy, and just to get people back in like the theaters. So once you subscribe, you pay your monthly fee, you'll get a certain number of credits. You can use those credits to see, as many movies as you can stretch it out to. I used to have like the lowest tier. You get some 20 credits, and I could get like three movies, four on a good month. Um, but it's really brought me back to the theaters, and they can do the same thing for you.
Yeah, and like the customer service there is amazing
Oh,
because
lightning fast.
what it's so fast. Because when I didn't know how to like put two people because I have the plan where two people can go at the same time, same movie.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I was trying to do that, and it wouldn't go through. And then Victor said, "Oh, I got you." And it was so I know it's gonna take like at least 2 hours. Victor came back so
Right.
quick,
Solved the
and
same day, didn't he?
same 15 minutes. And so I got in the movie. The person I was with got in the movie, and it was just handled like that. So, movie
Mhm.
That's
pass.
great. That
Movie.
is great. Whoa, that y'all make me want to join.
Yeah, it's a great service. It's a great service. So,
I should check
Stacy,
it out. Yes.
so Stacy, is there anything that you recently seen, heard, read, watched that you want to put our listeners onto?
Wow. Whoa. Seen or heard? I'm gonna go in a different direction here.
Okay.
Mhm.
Um, there is a bubbling up conversation about communities financing pictures so that we can see
Mm.
us being represented how we want to be represented.
Yeah.
And there's a bubbling up of ownership. And in my book, I talk about we don't own anything. We
Mhm.
don't own our culture. We don't own what comes from us. And one of the biggest sports, I am blessed to be able to travel all around the world, whether I'm in Hong Kong or I'm in New Zealand or I'm in Singapore or I'm in London. Black culture
Hmm.
is when I go to Japan and I'm seeing cats in Japan with cornrows, it's like
Mhm.
when
Hmm.
I go to Singapore and kids are rocking, Jordans, when I go to they're walking around in Kobe shirts. It's like
Yeah. Our culture
and
is
and
America's greatest resource.
Hmm.
and the thing that's to me is really something is we don't own a piece of our culture. We don't. And what I think is going to happen that I just want to school us all on, because I put this in the zeitgeist so we can all be thinking about it,
Mhm.
is creators that come from our communities, I believe in the future are going to use blockchain technology to finance projects so that the money comes back into the
Yeah.
community. So let me give you an
Yeah.
example. So Kevin Hart wants to make a movie. He's coming up in the game. He's starting to do these concert films. People, he's not a household name yet, but we know
Hmm.
who he is.
Right.
And when Kevin does a movie or he's doing the tour, we're out, right? Whether it
Mhm.
was Tyler Perry doing gospel plays or Kevin Hart with his comedy stuff or early Spike Lee independence
Hmm.
or Jay-Z dropping a mixtape. We know about it first.
Mhm.
What I think is going to happen is blockchain technology and smart contracts allow you to take investment capital and it allows you to remember who put money in and it allows you to reward and lets them keep putting money in and investing in you. And as you make money, they make money.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I think when you look at a lot of the Ivy League colleges, what they do is they have these endowments that the endowment invests in the students, and the students agree to put money back into the endowment.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Black communities need to be doing this
Yeah.
because what happens is that our culture goes worldwide. And when we do, Kendrick was in his little bell-bottom pants, and 2 days later, the whole world's trying to find where they can buy little bell-bottom plants that he had on the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
Hmm.
right? Right? Like that. When we do something and we drop it like that. And to me, that is the biggest empowering economic resource we have is our culture.
Hmm.
And what I'm putting out there is I think that we need to set up systems that we invest in ourselves and see that money come back. What happens is our money is extracted from our culture
Hmm.
Mhm.
and they'll hire us, but then get us to pay money because it's like, oh, look, we're being represented on the screen.
Yeah.
But the money comes and they take it out of the neighborhood and they go put it in Burbank.
Yeah.
Yep.
And what I'm saying is that money needs to come back. And
Mm.
that's what I would like to put people onto.
Okay.
Okay. I absolutely
Mhm.
agree with that. I think I've heard like the black dollar only circulates in the community like 6 hours or something like that. Like
Mm.
it's
Crazy.
short.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I would like to put out. We need those dollars to stay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you
Okay.
heard it first here from
Hmm.
Stacy Spikes.
Yeah.
All right, DeMarcus, do we have an activity for today?
Do you have anything to put folks on to, Jared?
Do I? Oh, not anything as insightful as Stacy just did.
Oh yeah. No, no, I don't have anything that insightful either. I have something like much lighter.
Much, yeah, much, much lighter. I just saw Black Mirror.
Oh,
The latest season
Mm.
came out on Netflix just recently. And the episode with Issa Rae. Now look, now wait.
mm,
When
mm,
I
mm.
was watching, I watched Black Mirror from the beginning on the BBC. And
Yeah.
when I saw all those names. I was like, this isn't what Black Mirror is. We just need to go back to the beginning, give it back to the BBC. But
Hmm.
then I saw Issa Rae's um, movie, and in her scene, in her episode, she is actually there's this really old black and white movie, and she's using AI to replace the actor who's a man and
Hmm.
act it as Issa Rae would act it. So,
Hmm.
but her character is Issa Rae. Anyway, whatever. But the movie is very interesting. It's a love story.
Okay.
It's set like those old Hollywood love stories where everyone is like hoity-toity, and there's the hotel scene with the bar and everything, and Issa Rae's this black woman in this hotel scene, and it's awkward from there, but it's so beautiful how it ends. And I was really, really happy with, Black Mirror even having that story. And for Issa even doing that, that's not a character that I've ever seen Issa Rae do. So I
Hmm.
was really happy with Issa Rae and Black Mirror. And I was like, okay,
You
I
said she
like
played
this.
herself?
She played a version of herself.
Oh, okay.
Mm,
Okay.
Yeah.
mm.
But yeah, it
Okay. I
was a
gotta
really
check it
good
out.
story.
Um, I'm gonna put everybody onto a board game that I started playing. It's called Sky Team. So
Oh,
it's a two-player co-op board game, and
oh,
it's basically about flying a plane, well, landing a plane. And
okay.
so as you progress through the game, your job is to land the plane at different airports. And with each airport that you have to do your approach, you have to handle your altitude, you have to get other planes out the way, like air traffic control type deal. You have to you have to employ the brakes, you have to launch the landing gear. So it's a lot of like airplane mechanics, but you're rolling dice to determine like how you do these things.
Ah.
Yeah, so me and my girlfriend played it, and I made us lose because like I kept rolling real high on the dice. But you can crash the plane, you can like overshoot the airport. Like there's a lot of things that can go wrong. You can like go into a tailspin. But it was a really fun game, and I had never played just like a two-player game before, like on a
Yeah.
board as a board game. So it was definitely like really interesting to play. And if you like board games, you like co-op stuff, Sky Team is a great game to add to your collection.
So it was like up to chance, or they like you control the brakes and she controlled the wings or something?
Yeah, so you play the pilot and co-pilot. So one
Okay.
person, the pilot, they control like the speed, they control the brakes and the landing gear. As the co-pilot, you'll control like the flaps. You're the one talking to air traffic control.
Oh.
Um, there's also a mechanic where like you can get coffee in the game because it's sometimes like a long flight, and you can use the
Oh,
coffee
wow.
to like change the dice rolls you'd make.
Oh.
Um, but essentially, like you roll four dice, and then you all have to like place those dice on the game board to determine how well you employ the brakes, or if you can keep the plane balanced. Um, but yeah, it's a really fun game. It's a lot of rules to read in the beginning, but once you start playing, it's super simple.
I mean, so it's
How did you find out about it?
yeah.
So for my birthday, one of my coworkers just bought this game for me because I had like a board game, like party games kind of birthday. So
Hmm.
for
Yeah.
like a small group of folks, and we played like a bunch of different games, and they were like, "Oh, like we love a themed birthday because it's easy to buy gifts," and they both had like different board games for me.
Okay.
And is it a two-person game or more people can play?
Two people, only two people. Yeah,
Wow.
but it's
That
real
That's
quick.
seems
wild.
that
Like
sounds wild.
yeah, we lost in like 15 minutes, but I think like once we learned how to play, it was
Short
real quick.
flight.
Yeah.
That's great. That's
Okay.
great.
Okay. DeMarcus, do you have an activity for us today?
Yes, I have an activity for us today. And for the people that's joining us for the first time, the way games work on Black Geek Energy is DeMarcus controls the games. He comes up with the games. He determines the right answers, the winners, and the losers. And today's game is just it's going to be a trivia game, and we're going to call it, I've seen that before.
Okay.
Um,
Uh-oh.
and so, what I am going to do, I have 8 questions. I am going to play a clip from a movie.
Oh
It's
Oh
going to be an
no.
boy.
audio clip,
Oh
and you're
no.
going to have to tell me what movie that clip
Oh
is from.
Jesus. Oh
No.
gosh. Okay.
This should be easy. We're all cinephiles here, right? We all go to the movies all
Well, that's
the
yeah, exactly. That's when you find out you're really not a cinephile.
Yeah.
time. Right.
Yeah. All right,
And
Demarcus, so share your screen or share your audio so we can
I definitely
hear it.
will. Yeah.
Oh goodness.
You
So,
gotta you gotta turn you gotta put the permissions on, Jared. We do go through this
oh,
every time.
so sorry. Multiple. Can I advance sharing options?
hmm
It says all participants.
Now, okay.
Okay. So
Great.
this is the thing with his games. He tries to make these games where he knows I will lose, so to embarrass me. Um,
Oh boy.
so yeah.
Absolutely not, Jared. You do that, but I don't do that. I try to make the game like
Y'all are
fun and
rough.
interesting. All right. So I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10. Jared,
4.
okay? Stacy.
7.
The number is 8. Stacy, you're going first.
Oh,
Okay.
We're gonna
okay.
alternate. Stacy, whoever's turn it is, they can give the answer. If you get it wrong, the other person has a chance to steal the point.
Okay.
All right. Um,
So
and I
we
can
can see your screen. So do you want to do audio only or
I didn't see the audio only option, and this is not the screen where the
okay,
options
okay,
are,
okay, okay,
where the questions and answers are. I got that's on the other
Okay.
screen.
okay.
All right.
Okay.
Are we ready?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. Question number 1. Let me know if you can hear this clip.
Everything the light touches is our kingdom.
I got it.
A king's time as ruler.
Perfect.
Lion King.
Absolutely. Easy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That one was easy.
Everyone,
James Earl Jones. Everything. I can see the scene.
yeah,
Yeah,
They're standing up on the thing. Everything the light touches. Yeah.
yeah. And
yeah.
man, The Lion King is such a good movie. Like
Yeah.
I can rewatch that over and over again.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. All right.
All
Stacey
right,
on
Jared.
the board. Jared, question number 2. You ready?
No, not ready.
I think. All right, I'm gonna stop talking because I don't want to give no hints.
The one thing they love more than a hero is to see a hero fail, fall, die trying, in spite of everything you've done for them.
I got it.
I can play it again.
No, I don't need to hear it again. I still won't know it. Is this a superhero movie?
Of course.
Okay, is this Batman?
No, Jared, it's not Batman, and it makes me disappointed that you said that.
Uh,
Stacy, what movie is it?
Willem Dafoe in Spider-Man.
Shut the front door.
oh my
Exactly.
God.
Toby Maguire
He,
Spider-Man at
yep, yep.
that.
He was the Green Goblin.
hmm Tobey Maguire is still my favorite Spider-Man, and it's probably just mostly nostalgia at this point.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
All right, Stacy, number 3 is for you.
Okay, here we go.
Now why would I do some shit like that?
I'm gonna have to fuck you up, Smokey.
I got it. I got it. I got it. Fridays.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why would I do some shit like that? I have to fuck you up. Chris
Uh,
Tucker.
Been smoking my shit.
Yeah.
I would never do that, big worm.
Damn, Miss Cut.
Yo,
I'm
that's
so
How you doing, Miss Parker?
Hey boys.
Yep, exactly.
crazy.
I don't know if y'all minds work like this, but movie lines just pop into my head all the
Yeah,
time.
yep.
No, it doesn't. That's why I'm going to fail at this game. So
Oh, damn it.
go
You got
ahead.
it. All right, they get I don't know. This one,
Progressively harder. I know.
no, I
Okay.
wouldn't. Maybe.
You would. You would.
All right, Jared, this one's for you. Number 4.
What country you from? What ain't no country I ever heard of? They speak English and what? What? English, motherfucker! Do you speak it? Yes. Then you know what I'm saying.
Okay, so that's Samuel L. Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know what the movie is, so I'm just going to
Jared.
take a leap and I'm just going to say Snakes on the Plane.
Jared. Stacy, would you like to steal?
You know, it's tough because so I'm gonna go with Pulp Fiction.
That is absolutely Pulp Fiction.
Oh my, I've never seen Pulp Fiction.
Jared.
Ah,
Hmm.
so that's the part where I think he's talking to I can see the character, but
Hmm.
I see it. It's the cat that's in the diner, and I'm drawing a blank on his name at the moment. But yeah, Pulp Fiction.
Yep, absolutely.
Wow.
All
Wow.
right. Stacey, you're blowing Jared out the water. We're halfway through the questions. We got four
Uh-oh.
more.
Oh,
And,
okay.
and maybe this, Jared, this is where your comeback starts. But
We'll
Stacey,
see.
it's your
We'll
turn.
see.
Okay.
Like I misses a rock in my shoe. Now, I ask you, who this nigga on that nail?
Okay, it's Sam, but he's in. I've seen this.
Hmm.
Period piece. It's
Hmm. Hmm. You can see it in your mind's eye.
yeah. I even see Sam's clothes. God, oh, uh, is it Eve's Bayou?
No, it's not Eve's Bayou.
Okay.
Way more recent than that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
okay. I think I have it now, but
Okay. Jared, you want to try to steal?
Yes, I will. Tyler Perry's Diary of a Mad Black Woman.
Wow. You just has Samuel Jackson been in any Tyler Perry movie?
Not yet. Not
Then why
yet.
would you guess that?
Well,
So
why we play this game so I could be embarrassed? That's what the point is. So
so that one was Samuel Jackson in Django.
yeah.
oh,
Hmm. Hmm.
Yep. Django.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
That was my second. Once I knew that I missed, that
Yeah,
was my second one, which was Django. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Another great movie. All right. Jared, it's your turn.
all right, great.
Yeah.
All right. This one is another old movie. We used to have to watch it in school every Black History Month
Okay,
Uh-oh.
to give out a hint.
is it Roots?
You're going to learn to say your name. Let me hear you say it. What's your name?
Kuta.
Kunta.
Yeah,
Oh, you gave him an easy lob.
yeah, yeah. So that's Roots,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
I actually have also never seen Roots.
Oh, wait a
What?
second.
Hmm. Yeah.
I actually have, which I'm very honored, I actually have a autographed copy by Alex Haley
Shut
of the book
up.
Roots. I got a first edition Alex Haley autographed copy of Roots.
Wow.
Yeah, I bought it it
Okay.
was in a bookstore, like a regular bookstore, and I was like, do they know this is
Hmm.
it was like just, to somebody, it was like just and I saw this in a bookstore. I think it was up near San Francisco, and I
Okay.
have an autographed copy of Roots.
Did they know? Like,
No,
so you got it for like $15 too.
yeah. I was like, y'all don't know
Wow.
what you're sitting on here.
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah.
that is
Found
nice.
it in a secondhand bookstore.
That's real cool.
Yeah.
I need to try like more secondhand stores because.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Stacey, I think we're back to your turn.
Yes. Yes.
And it's funny you make that hand gesture. That's crazy once you hear the question.
You take the blue pill. The story
Ah,
ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you
got
want to
it.
believe.
But I just want to hear more of you finish talking. Go ahead.
Yeah, that was
That
it. That was the
it?
whole clip. I could play it again.
No. It's the Matrix. It's the first one.
Mhm.
It's the blue pill versus the red pill.
Absolutely. I feel like that's like
Yeah.
one of the most famous lines in the world.
Yeah.
Okay. Jared, last one is for you.
All right.
Hmm. You can walk away from this game with your dignity. Are you ready?
No pressure.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
But Lorraine
Oh,
and Jimmy are through.
That's Dreamgirls. And that was
Absolutely.
Jennifer Hudson singing.
Hudson,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
He
Great job.
saves himself. He saved the day.
Yeah, coming
Yes.
back. I feel if I
Now I
had
can
like two more, Jerry, you'll be on
now I
it.
can hold my head up in the daytime. So
All right. That's the end of the game. We called it I Seen That. Stacy, you got 5 points. 6 points, sorry. Jared, oh wait, no, only five, because no one got that one
okay.
question.
Yeah.
Jared, you got two. Stacy, you are the winner. Which makes sense. You're the big man on campus.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
wasn't a fair fight. It wasn't a fair fight.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
I feel like all of
You
you
gave me my medium, so
Yes. See, if we did
we
comic
gotta
book
go easy on him.
characters, if we did comic
Yeah.
book characters, it would be different.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Okay. Stacy, answer me some questions right quick
Okay.
about Movie Pass Mogul, which is the new initiative that Movie Pass is doing. What
Yeah.
is it? What can I do? Because I open my app and I get all these pop-ups and I'm doing all these things. I'm like, it seems so fun, but what am I doing?
Okay.
so,
Okay.
so what is
So
Movie Pass Mobile?
Movie Pass Mogul, we're in the business of making the first fantasy sports league for
Mm,
movies. So I want you to imagine that when you think of fantasy sports, you create a league,
mhm,
you have teams,
Mhm.
and then you have athletes. What we're doing is you create a studio, you have movies, and you have actors and directors.
okay.
And so
Mm.
you're playing off real box office. And what is happening on a weekly basis is you're trying to predict the box office performance, the per screen average, the sentiment score, Rotten Tomatoes or IMDb, and
Mhm.
then you're trying to determine in the award season who wins the award.
Okay.
And so
Ooh.
you're competing against others. And in the beginning, it's for pretend money, but we're working on actually making that you will actually be able to compete it for real dollars. So that is what Mogul is. And the top of the leaderboard, the top 100 will be considered mogul level. And you have to be that good to get up to that level. And it will be a global game, and people will be able to play no matter where you are in the world.
That
Nice.
sounds so fun.
That's what we have coming.
That
That's
sounds so
amazing.
fun.
Yeah.
My job does like a fantasy bracket. They just finished one for March Madness, and I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
not watching every basketball game, but I
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
go to the movies every week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
this.
And we
Yeah.
already do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So we wanted, we took Movie Pass and we were like, how could we make, we're not a movie theater that we can
Mm,
reward you by doing it more through popcorn and soda, or we're not
right.
a studio that can say, hey, here's an NFT, or here's some character stuff or merch.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
we were like, what could we do from a fan and a community perspective that could create deeper engagement? And
Right.
so that's what we looked at and said, everybody talks about what did it do at the box office? How was the
Mhm.
performance? Everybody knows this past weekend that Minecraft did 150 million and it was projected to do 60, but Snow White cost 200 million to make,
Yeah.
but made 50 million. So we that's part of our culture. And so we wanted to bring that behavior like people do around sports. We want to bring that kind of energy to the movie industry.
That makes
Yeah.
complete
It
sense.
makes sense. It
Yeah.
makes
Yeah.
sense. Now, I know that you get to see the movies ahead of the schedule.
Sometimes, not all the
Sometimes.
time.
Not okay, not all the
Not
time.
all the time. I sometimes I actually like not seeing it early. I like being because when you see it early, you see it with industry people.
Okay.
And
Mm.
I like seeing it with the real audience.
Okay.
So anyway, sometimes like the big films, sometimes I pass, I wait. I say, no,
Oh,
no, no, I wanna see it
Ooh.
with the crowd. Yeah, yeah,
okay. Um,
But
Stacy
yes,
Spikes,
please,
man
sorry,
of the people.
proceed. Yeah.
The big new movie that is on the tip of everybody's tongues that's coming out next week is Sinners. And they are
Yeah.
saying that it's 100% on Rotten Tomatoes,
Yeah.
100%.
Oscar worthy. And for a
Yeah.
horror movie, that's
Yeah.
crazy. So did you
That's
see
crazy.
that? Did you see
Yeah,
Sinners?
that's a perfect example. We got invited to a Sinners screening, and I
Mm-hmm.
was like, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna go to. So I live down in New York, New York, Long Island. The island is like this little vertical stack,
Mm-hmm.
and so I'm down in the West Village, and my jam for films like that is I'll go to Times Square because it's like it's young.
Ooh.
I'll go to Union Square or Times Square
Yeah.
Mhm.
because that's where all the young people will be, and that's so I'm gonna go see it probably at one of those two theaters and be there Friday night or Saturday night in the
Mm.
middle of the crowd. So because I think it's like I always look at going to the movies a lot like where you go and listen to music. So
Mhm.
you might go to Madison Square Garden to see Taylor Swift, but you're not going to see a jazz musician at Madison Square Garden. You're going to be down at the Blue Note, right? And
Right.
so it's kind of like you got to be at with movies can play all places, but you want to see art house in certain theaters and you want to see the
Hmm.
Dune.
Mm.
Dune might be on a little screen at my local art house, but I don't want to see Dune on that. I want to see it on IMAX.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like making sure that when you see stuff, because I'm going to have an experience, and sometimes seeing it with jaded industry people is not as fun as seeing it with
Okay.
regular people. So,
That's
Absolutely.
yeah,
interesting. Because,
I
like,
can, I
they're
yeah,
just
can.
there for the red carpet and not really for the
yeah.
experience, would you say?
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. And I would give you a perfect example. Everybody trashed Snow White, okay? And I'm gonna tell you a secret. And this being a father and knowing what it's like seeing things through the eyes of a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a kid's film like that and you want a better experience, go see it either at matinee or earlier in the day because the little kids aren't going to be at the 8 o'clock show. They're not going to be
Mm-hmm.
at the 8, 10 o'clock.
Mm.
And what happens is you'll hear their little questions and you'll hear them saying stuff. And so I went to see Snow White at 11:30 in
Yeah.
the morning and filled with parents and kids. And this little girl goes, "Don't eat the apple, Snow White. Don't eat the apple."
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Love
And
that.
she goes, "Mommy, tell her don't eat the apple." And that's what I mean by if I had gone to the 8 o'clock show,
Hmm.
you know, it's gonna be with teenagers and others that'd be like, "This is bullshit. Let's go,
Yeah.
let's go
Yeah.
check something out." But seeing it with a bunch of little kids, it was great. It was like I appreciate it more. So you got to kind of know not only when to go, but where to go. I'm thinking about writing a book called How to Watch Movies,
Oh,
Hmm.
and to talk about these nuances that people miss. They think just going to the same local theater is the way to do it. There's other ways that you can get an experience.
Right.
It's like eating it's like you think Popeyes is soul food,
Mm.
but if you haven't been to Roscoe's in LA or if you haven't been to certain places in Atlanta, you don't you might get the food and someone who is working in high school behind that counter. That's different than there are soul food restaurants in every city that when you walk in, it is the experience of Black culture around
Hmm.
you, not Popeyes or, here you want your chicken and wings and red beans and rice, or
yeah.
thinking that Kentucky Fried Chicken is a
It's
soul food
crazy.
experience. It's not. So
That's
So,
crazy.
Stacey, are you an open at night man? So you were saying with Sinners, you're going to be like Friday or Saturday. Like you want to see the movie as soon as it comes out?
yeah, if I want to go, but I don't like, there's some movies that I call they're thinking movies. I'm
Hmm.
okay without seeing it with a large crowd, right? But when there's emotion movies, like the crowd participation, if it's a slasher film, if it's a horror
Mm.
film, I want to see those with the crowd. If it's a big, a Star Wars or something like that. And so yeah, I'll go Friday. Sometimes I'll go Thursday night, the early Thursday night previews, or I'll go
Mm.
Friday morning.
Okay, okay.
So our whole staff, the whole company picks a movie a month and we all go to the movies.
Ooh.
Ooh.
And even the remote workers, we'll all go at the same time, even if we're in different cities, and we all go to the movies once a month.
Nice.
Mm.
I love that.
It's great for team building. Even if
Yeah.
your company isn't in the movie industry, the whole staff, you know, I think the craziest movie we went to see together was Cocaine Bear. Y'all
Okay.
remember hearing about
I
that
remember
movie?
that. And I was like, this feels
And
ridiculous.
and that was based on a true story. That
Yeah,
was loosely based on a true story. That was crazy.
yeah.
But yeah, that was people just was lost their minds and it was hilarious. So,
Okay. Stacey, one thing I want to ask you, we all
sure.
know that the movie going experience is the way to see movies, not only because these people make movies for the movie theater,
Hmm.
but we have to acknowledge the streaming thing that's going on.
Hmm.
So, what would you say is the thing that's going on with movies nowadays post pandemic where it'll be good for the first 2 weeks, then the third week it kind of drops off, steeply.
Hmm.
It's a
Yeah.
really steep drop off.
Yeah. So the way the business works is you start out on your maximum number of screens,
Hmm.
and then you move down by about 50% because there's another plane coming in, and there's like the
Mm.
there's a number one, usually there's a number one, unless you end up with a Barbenheimer scenario, but there's usually a number one big jumbo jet that's coming into the airport, right? And you got little planes following behind it. And they
Hmm.
come in and land, and every week you have that, right? And
Mm.
so think of it like an airport because you have a limited number of screens,
Mhm.
and the big one's going to take 400, the mediums are going to take 2,000 to 500, the little ones are going to be 500 to 5. They're going to be
Mhm.
smaller. So and they all come in each week and they got about 4 weeks to get their money and they got to go and they're going to fall 50% per week. So
Yeah,
that's
Mm.
how the industry works and moves. And you got 52 weeks. On average, you're dropping 10 films a week.
yeah,
Mm.
And so there's 400 to 500 films released every year. And then you have the um international, you have certain seasons, in our seasons, our cinematic seasons are based when people have leisure time, more leisure
mm,
time. So
Mm.
your weekend, and then your holidays, and then summer, and then Christmas, right? When people have pockets that they have time off,
yeah,
especially students.
Yeah.
And that's how the industry moves. And then you have specifics like Valentine's Day, Halloween. uh Now horror is coming out year round now. It's no
Yeah.
longer it
love
used to
it.
be an October Madness kind of thing. Now it's year round. um and that's kind of how the nature of the beast and how it moves, kind of like the concert business takes advantage of summer
Hmm.
because you have outdoor amphitheaters, you have that you can be in those stadiums that are not just playing baseball, but they can do other things in those summer stages. Like they can put up stages in parks. You need good weather for all of that. So that's,
Yeah.
you know, yeah. I don't know if I answered the question,
You
but
did.
that's
You
yeah,
did.
yeah, yeah,
I have another question. Like,
yeah,
where do you think the movie industry is going? Like, I've been to a couple of like 4D movies, which are pretty
yeah,
like novelty, like in
yeah,
like
yeah.
some other kind of experience. Do you think that's ever
Amusement park ride.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly? Do you think that's ever going to become like the way to see movies, like in 4D, where it, like airs in your face, there's like a sprinkler of water or something?
I don't like the 4D experience, to be honest. I found so the first time I did 4D, I went and saw that Pearl Harbor film, the one that came out not too long ago.
Hmm.
And so we're going down and they're shooting at the ship and my seat's doing like this. And then the plane lifts up and you see the water splash because the ship and I got spritzed in the face. And I
Mm.
was literally taking my glasses off and I'm trying to clear my glass and I'm trying to get back in the movie and I'm like, Jesus. I
Yeah.
didn't know. Wait. I didn't know that I went into a 4D movie. So I didn't know what I
Ah.
was getting myself into. And
Oh.
I was like, hell no. What water are you spritzing me with? How long has that water? Is that the water that's from the toilet? What the hell is that? Like, like, so I
Yeah.
was like, thank you, but no. And it's more expensive.
Yeah.
Mm.
It was
And
the
the other
sequel.
one, the other one is I think it's like Xbox or whatever, where they show it on the sides of the walls.
Oh.
So if you've seen that one, so the movie's going, and then all of a sudden, in theory, it expands the image like
Oh
this. But
yeah.
what
Oh yeah.
happens is it's not showing on a movie screen with the sides. It's showing on the walls of the theater with the
Yeah.
speakers and the exit sign.
Mm.
That one to me also needs is a little half baked. I think if you do 4DX, I think that you should allow the person to opt out, and I think then it's okay. But if you're forcing it in the extra sounds and the spritzing and the
Mhm.
sheets, thank you, but no. Mm-mm.
Yeah, no, I agree. My first 4D movie, I was like, this is horrible. Get me out of here.
Yeah, yeah,
Like it's okay
yeah,
at Disney World, but
yeah,
outside
yeah,
of that
yeah,
is
yeah.
yeah.
Good idea, but
Yeah.
a little much. Don't let grandma get in that seat, boy. You'll
Uh-uh.
Right.
give grandma a heart attack. Mess around, kill somebody.
Right.
Now, in your view,
Yeah.
what role does, storytelling play when it comes to like social change or activism or anything like that?
Mm.
That's a great question. I think movies are this very, very powerful thing. You know, you saw a black president
Hmm.
in Morgan Freeman before we had an Obama.
Yes.
Hmm.
You saw Angela Bassett as a black woman president
Hmm.
before Kamala,
Yeah.
almost.
Hmm.
Um, you see, if you see it, then you believe it can be true. And it
Mm.
it goes into the zeitgeist. When you saw, you know, in Sidney Poitier, that famous scene where, he had in his contract the character in, I forgot the movie title, it'll come to me in a second, but the white man hits him with the back of his hand.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And Sidney wrote in the script, I'm going to hit him back because I can't do a movie where a white man hits me and I don't hit him back.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And he said, take it or leave it. And they said, okay, okay. And so there's that scene where it's like, he hits him right back. And the crowd went wild. Like,
Yeah.
oh shit. Because we could you that was a death sentence for somebody in the real world living in the South.
Right.
Hmm.
You're gonna you I'm sorry, you're dead. They won't even you don't even need a trial. They have a tree nearby that they're gonna put you on by sundown. And so civil rights changes, cultural differences. We talked about it earlier. Moonlight.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
We talked about presidency. We talked about, pushing back in the culture when you saw um, um, uh, things like you get these people and these characters that Jungle Fever, you were seeing
Mm.
interracial relationships on the
Hmm.
screen. And And they made it just like everybody else, but it
Yeah.
was like, oh, well, she must got jungle fever. She wants herself
That's a
a
real thing
jungle
now.
bunny. She wants herself
Mhm.
a jungle bunny, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And so these are things like what you're talking about that first we do it on the screen and kind of pretend,
Hmm.
but the screen is often imitating certain edges of the culture that aren't mainstream yet and bringing it mainstream and pulling it to the
Hmm.
center. And so you get the gay funny character, or you get the lesbian character,
Hmm.
or you get these characters that are on the edge and then they become the center. And that those are political statements.
Hmm.
And so I think film is very powerful. It's different than Katie Lang singing a love song, or this one or that one saying something, and it's kind of hidden
Hmm.
versus, it's front and center and it's seen and you can't mistake it. And that's the part that I think film is a medium that is why you see censorship boards and you see countries that try and edit things out because they
Yeah.
don't want you to see in that context because they fear adoption.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And so that's powerful when around the world, if you go to certain Muslim countries, they're going to edit it. And if you go to certain Asian countries, they're going to edit things out. They're going to say, no,
Yeah.
hell no,
Yeah.
Like,
because there will be adoption
yeah.
of the behavior. It says that's okay.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
that's scary to people.
Yeah. Like with the Star Wars poster with John Boyega,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
remember the Eternal scene with
Yeah.
uh Michael Tyree Henry that had to be edited out in China. So
Yeah.
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 It's very
Yeah.
true for what you talk about. You know your stuff. Okay, so
Yeah.
tell me, I have seen, of course, your movie on Max,
Oh, the
you know,
yes,
movie
yes.
pass, movie fail, but it kind of left us off
Movie
with,
pass, movie crash.
oh, movie pass, movie crash. I'm sorry, sorry,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Movie
Yeah.
pass,
Yeah.
movie crash. But it
Yeah.
left us off with, everything's going great now, da, da, da. But how has your vision evolved, as you
Yeah.
navigated this, um, your entrepreneur endeavor with MoviePass, and how has it changed since the end of that movie?
Good question. The core product evolution was we introduced, and DeMarcus talked about we introduced credits.
Hmm.
In the
Mm-hmm.
first version, it was kind of like we weren't sure how to do it, and it was just pay and go. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The risky part is you had no alignment with the audience to drive them towards the economics that are best for the company. So
Hmm.
I'll give you an example. If we're getting wholesale pricing on non Friday, Saturday, Sunday hours, right? I'm going to get wholesale because the theater's uh, empty and they want to put bodies in there. So they say, hey, movie pass, yeah. If it's not Friday night, Saturday night, or Sunday night, yeah, I'll give you wholesale pricing.
Yeah.
Hmm.
What would happen is you could go anytime on Movie Pass V1. And so you're going Friday, Saturday night. And so I'm paying full price.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And I just told you could go every day. But what I really want you to do is I want you to go when I have wholesale pricing where I'm paying less
Yeah.
because then you and I have alignment. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so the way we had to introduce that was credits. So now you put your cash in, you get these credits, and I say, and DeMarcus, I mean, he did such a great job of kind of set he talked about stretching his credits, right?
Hmm.
And he got it, and that's exactly what we wanted to be able to do so that we could have win-win. You can't have a company that goes bankrupt.
Yeah.
You want us both to win. And so introducing the credits, we were able to, there's these little bubbles up near the show times. And
Mm-hmm.
what we were able to do is that's a way of us signaling to the audience, we pay less for these.
Mm.
And so if you want more, go where the number's lower. And so the
Mhm.
person in their own mind trying to stretch their own credit. Because if you don't care and you want to see this movie on Friday night of opening weekend, oh,
Yeah.
you should blow
Mhm.
your credits. Then it's like it's a normal price movie. But
Yeah.
if you want to get, you say, well, I want to get 4 movies,
Mhm.
Hmm.
I'll give you the 2 clues. Don't go in the first week
Hmm.
and don't go on the first 3 days.
Hmm.
Because that's when it's going to start to cool down because the next plane's coming in. And if you care about volume more than you care about being first, Movie Pass is great. You can go wherever you want and it's going to save you money. And the average person saves 30 to 40% on going to the movies by using Movie Pass.
30, it's
It's
50
so
to
good.
70. No, everybody needs to upgrade their subscription. See the movies when they are open
Yeah.
because you're gonna get that
Nah.
full experience. Like, I don't know what
Yeah.
the Marcus is doing with stretching his credits. I gotta see everything when they come out.
And we actually made it that you can buy more credits,
Yeah.
right? So you could use them in the middle of the month. So you might say, I really got to see Dune on opening
Mm-hmm.
weekend, but you might say, there's sometimes I can't get to everything, and I know I'll plan that one for next weekend. And that one you can get that it's cheaper because it's not in its first week. We'll take the number one and the number two movie and say high demand. And we're just being straight up like, we're not going to save any money because why would the theater give us discount tickets on something they know they're going to be sold out on?
Right, right.
Absolutely.
But I'm
Yeah.
so glad that you did that extra credits because I'm seeing Superman when it comes out,
Yeah.
Thunderbolts when it comes out, all those other movies in May when they come. I know I'm going to go over them in May.
Oh,
So
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
good thing.
And see
Yeah.
me, I can see everything second, third week on a Thursday afternoon after I leave work. I
Even Monday, like we found people who have any form of commute, they tend to go to the movies after work during the middle of the week, and they save a ton of money.
yeah, and I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
I tell people every time I tell them, I say, "Oh yeah, I went and saw this movie, and I used Movie Pass. Have you ever used Movie Pass?" Yeah,
Yeah,
every time.
yeah.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
say it with a hoity-toity attitude, like I got Movie Pass, and you using cash? I
yeah,
guess.
yeah.
Okay. All right, Stacy, we're going to ask you some quick fire questions now.
Okay,
Now, you
okay,
can answer these with a yes or no, or whatever the
okay,
answer is.
okay,
But if you want to, then you can go a little bit more in depth with your
okay.
answer.
All right,
There's one that we prefer, but we're not going to put too much pressure on you.
all right, all right. I'm ready
Okay, so first question. If you could have any superpower, what superpower would you have?
to know the future.
Oh,
We
okay.
haven't heard that one before. Okay,
Okay.
cool.
Whose side are you on? Professor X or Magneto?
Y'all are
Mm.
wrong. Y'all are wrong. I'll go with X.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay. I mean, that's the wrong answer, but okay.
I'm being contrarian here, so
Yes.
I'm like I'm going with X.
hmm.
Okay. So are you a video game player? Do you play
Is
video?
VR? Would you consider VR? I'm a heavy VR player. I've
Ooh.
gone from console to being helmet down.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
So who is your favorite black playable character in a video game?
Ooh.
The ones I'm playing they don't have race.
Yeah, because
Ooh.
So
you're in VR.
my favorite game is Pistol Whip. So like I love coming home and do you guys play Pistol Whip?
No,
I've
I
never
never
heard
heard
of
of
it.
it.
Oh my gosh.
Put us on. Put
So
us on.
School us,
so
school
so
us.
Pistol Whip is so you know the transom style where the game is kind of you're just coming you're it you don't have to run through it
Oh
but it
yeah, it's
just
on
moves you
rails.
along. It's
Yeah.
on rails.
Hmm.
And so you're it's kind of like Pistol Whip is John Wick and you're going through a maze and they're trying to hit you and
Mm.
you're trying to shoot them and it's crazy. And so
Okay.
when I'm done working, or I even have it in the office sometimes, I'll go into pistol whip. And so if you run out of bullets, you can reload by pistol whipping one of them, and it'll let you reload. So if you're out of bullets, you're like ducking and dodging because you can see their bullets coming, and
Uh-huh.
so you go up to one of them and you move out of the way at the right time and you hit them and it fully reloads you, and that's why it's called pistol whip.
And
But it's
Okay.
very, very physical, and you're in there, and the first time when you don't know where they're going to be or where they're coming from, you got to be careful with your lower back because with VR you really move,
yeah.
you
Mm.
know. And then it'll let you change the settings, and but I play it on like the hardest levels,
Okay.
and you're fully sweating by the time you're done. It is,
Oh, those will work out too.
yeah, Pistol Whip is my jam. Then I play the one with the lightsabers to the music.
Yeah, yeah. Beat
What's it?
Saber.
Beat Saber. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll play Beat Saber. I kind of get bored with Beat Saber a little bit,
Yeah.
and then one of the best games. This is gonna sound crazy. I'm gonna sound like a grandma here. I'm letting this out. There's a great game called Puzzling Places,
Okay.
and it is a 3D. So think of, all right, let's say if you do a puzzle and um um it's a castle,
Yeah.
okay? But instead of the pieces being flat, it's all 3D. So the pieces are out away from you, and you pull your trigger and it pulls a piece to you. And then you have to put these pieces together. And as you put them together, the castle is in full
Oh,
3D.
wow.
Oh,
But
nice.
what's cool is you can then grab the castle, pull yourself into it, and you are inside of the castle. And then you can move yourself out. Puzzling Places is so dope. So those are my jams. It's
Okay.
Beat Saber, Pistol Whip, Puzzling Places, and then the last one is uh less LES Mills MILLS workouts.
Okay.
Mm.
And it's a cross training workout
Oh,
program,
Okay.
and hard, hard,
so
hard. Those are my four jams.
so
So
are
yes,
these on the
I'm in there every day.
are these
I'm
on
in
the
there every day.
Oculus or
They're on Meta. Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, okay.
Nice.
They're all Meta. Those are my top four. I play everything, but they're very physical. I like at the end of the day
Hmm.
either centering my mind with puzzles or being very physical. And then I take a shower and I go to bed.
I have never heard anybody talk as highly as you do about VR.
Me
So I've never
either.
looked at it, but
I'm
man,
on I'm on headset number 5. I've been in VR
Wow.
from the beginning. I was playing with
wow.
VR. I have Vision Pro, and so by the way, MoviePass launched in VR a movie trailer site.
Okay.
Ooh.
So if you have it, go in and go to movie. It's called MoviePass Trailer Park,
Okay.
and go get it. And all of the trailers you can watch in VR.
Oh, and I've heard people on other
Nice.
podcasts talk about the Movie Pass Trailer Park, and they say
Yep.
they love it.
It's
Okay.
Okay.
it's it's awesome, and I now watch all my movie trailers in VR because it's like watching them in an IMAX theater.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah,
that's
Very
cool.
cool.
That's cool.
yeah.
Okay.
So you are your favorite black playable character, it sounds like.
Why, yes, I am. I
Okay.
didn't say it, you did.
All right. So, which would you rather be, werewolf or vampire?
I think I'm gonna go with vampires.
Hmm.
Vampires are just sexier.
Yeah.
Vampires always are going to bite your neck. Werewolves are scratching and biting people, and vampires are like, "Don't make me come in there. You must invite me into your home."
Yeah.
Vampires are dope. I'm
Yeah.
Yeah.
like, I'm going with that. I'm going
Okay.
with the
Okay. Okay.
sexy. I'm going sexy beast vampire.
Hmm.
Okay. So we know your affinity for Blade Runner, but which
Okay.
one do you prefer? Star Trek or Star Wars?
All right. I'm gonna go origin and say Star Trek was a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Its birth, it comes out of television. And I gotta go with Star Wars. Its origin was cinema.
Mm-hmm.
Its world building is vast.
Hmm.
And I love how they've been able to do animation.
Yeah.
They have live action. They've just done so much with that world. I'll have to go with Star Wars.
Okay.
Absolutely. This is the right answer.
Yeah, yeah. Not to some people. There's some Trekkies that'll kill you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some Klingons you don't want to cross.
Okay. Which
There's
you
some Vulcans, man, that will
Oh
put
yeah.
that put they will
For the
put that
touch.
have exactly. Yeah, you go ahead and you go walking down the street. We're gonna have see an article about you.
yeah, yeah.
Somebody went and touched him and put him to sleep.
Okay. Which do you prefer? Martin or living single?
I'm going with living single.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'm going with living single. There was just there was a lot more going on there, and I really liked how they dealt sometimes with big issues. The show could get, I won't call it serious, but the show would laugh, but it would also at times deal with real issues. I was like, damn, they
Yeah.
really went there. That was where Martin was always
Yeah.
funny and on, and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I like that they tried to push the envelope, and there were very few women shows that were, you know doing that. So I'll give them their props.
Okay. As a former music executive.
Uh-oh. Did you see how he lowered his voice about the
Yeah.
octaves? As a former music executive. Okay, go
Whose
ahead.
side are you on? Kendrick Lamar or Drake?
That's not even a question. That's that's no that's not that you wasted a bullet with that one. Not even- Kendrick, who have you had anybody say Drake? It's like,
I
no,
mean, I
I'm
see
going
people on my
Kendrick.
IG who are definitely Drake hardcore all the way. So,
Yeah,
Mhm.
and you gotta be, if that's your man, you gotta roll ride or die and stick with him. But
yeah.
I'm as far as just rapping and bringing it,
Hmm.
and just Kendrick's on some other shit. He's just
Yeah.
like he he, you first you get the line, but then the line has a line, but then the line's line has a line.
Yeah.
Like he will sit there and say A minor
Yeah.
as in young, A minor as in a note,
Hmm.
Hmm.
A minor as in a different concept. And like you're sitting there going, damn. He will sit there and then his videos will give you textured layers that
Hmm.
it's just he drops stuff like, why is he in there doing push-ups on cinder blocks?
Yeah.
Right? And then you start diving into it and it's like, wait. Why are him and the family, you know,
yeah.
Hmm.
in the freaking living room?
Yeah. You got to
Oh
think
wait,
about
they're
it.
dancing on a grave. Like that's just shit like, oh, Kendrick just
Yeah. It's some other
you
stuff.
know what? He's like, remember the not the Flash. Is it the X-Men character? Is it the Nightcrawler, the one who moves and
Yeah.
hits
He can
you and you
teleport.
don't
Hmm.
Hmm.
yeah, it's like that's Kendrick. Kendrick's like he's over there, boom, he hits you and he's over there and you're like and that's Kendrick's shit. He's like, mm-mm. Ooh. I Yeah, man, as bad as it may be, I'll be like, Mr. Lamar, whatever you need. So who can bring Bloods and Crips
yeah.
together?
Together.
Hmm.
Who can who can rap so good Bloods and Crips will hang out in the same video.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So
I'm
Kendrick.
I don't. That's not even a question. It's
Well,
like,
guess I
come
wasted a
on.
bullet point.
Yeah.
All right. What?
Drake lovers don't hate me. I'm just calling it like it is.
I mean, it don't stop me from. I do like Drake. I'm with Kendrick in the
Yeah.
beat, but
Yeah. It's I look as an artist, as an entertainer, but we're on some Muhammad Ali level stuff. It's like
Mhm.
you're on some Michael Jordan stuff. You're on Tiger Woods golf course stuff. Like this is like you're playing up in the upper atmosphere now. You know,
Mhm.
this is some transcendental stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. So you do have kids, right?
One,
Okay.
I have a daughter. She's now 19.
Oh,
Ooh.
okay. So
Yeah.
when she was young, what
Yeah.
was a show that you would watch with your daughter?
You're gonna laugh.
Okay.
We didn't have a TV in the house.
Mm.
We had it. Well, let me correct this. We had a screen.
Yeah.
We we still don't have a television. We have a we have a screen, but we don't watch television. We watch movies.
Mm.
And so what was great about anything that had hooks and advertising, because I work in the space, I didn't want in my house.
Mhm. Mhm.
So if we sat down, she watched a movie. It is a
Mm.
focused amount of time. There's no distractions. And then we're done with that activity and we went to something else. So she grew up on all the Pixar films.
Oh.
Ooh.
So she'd see them in theaters. And so what would happen was she didn't watch TV shows. She would say, Daddy, can I watch Cars? Daddy, can I
Mm.
watch, uh, uh, Wally, can I watch?
Mhm.
So she could watch movies during set times, and we're still that way to this day. We don't watch television.
Nice.
Mm.
Yeah, it
Okay.
just made I believe like it's like with social or anything, the structured time boxing things is very important.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay.
So, yeah.
What movie are you looking forward to on this later half of 2025?
Will we? Okay, Sinners,
Mhm.
Mission Impossible, Formula One,
No, you don't get to choose. You only get
Superman.
to pick
I
one.
told you. I told you. This is my jam. There's no movies that you're interested in seeing. I, all of them. I mean, it's just like I see it all. I love it. So
Mhm.
I mean, that's my answer.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So now for a hard one. What's your
Okay.
favorite movie of all time? Well,
So
besides Blade
Blade Runner.
Runner. Yeah.
I have a quote that I tell
Okay.
everybody who asks me this question, and I said
Uh-oh.
it
I know what it
earlier.
is.
I said it earlier. People who like movies have favorites. People who love movies can't possibly.
Mhm.
But
Uh-oh.
if you're gonna try and put me in a box, I mean, Blade Runner had the biggest impact. Like in my office wall, I actually have Blade Runner on my wall in my office.
Hmm.
I mean, so it is the thing that I went from being a fan to this is going to be an occupation.
Mm-hmm.
That had the most impact. But like those movies once a year you watch. So I love watching Nicolas Cage and Family Man.
Mm.
Mm.
I love watching Lawrence of Arabia. I like watching Black Panther.
Okay.
Mhm.
I like watching a lot of the Pixar stuff. I think just because it was a special time with my daughter when she was little.
Mhm.
I um, like things like Shawshank. Going back
Mm.
and watch Shawshank. I'm the only guilty man in Shawshank. You know, it's I love the ones where I they have all of these one-liners and you know the whole movie and you can be
Hmm.
working in the house and you know the movie and so you're acting out all of these scenes.
Mm.
So that's kind of how I am with, some of my classics. I have those that are on my iPad. You just made me think of this. My iPad's right here, and I'm curious. So I have in my movie section um where I have all of the movies that I watch and I'm just pulling it up because I'm curious. But the yeah, here we go. So the crazy thing is I'm glad you guys are bearing with me while I do this.
No sweat.
Oh, take your
Um
time.
it is when I watch stuff and I have it on speed dial because I'm like, okay, here we go. They moved that stuff around. So, oh, never mind. It's sending me to a bunch of other places. I won't
Oh,
hold you guys up.
boo.
But anyway, I'm always watching, and I like Big Hero 6.
Okay.
Mm.
So that was fun. I like a bunch of the Marvel stuff. Like I said, Panther's probably the one like I go back and I watch over again because
Mhm.
it has a whole nother level of resonance to it.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Aliens come down to Earth and they say, I need to watch my very first movie. What movie do you get them to watch to get them hooked on movies?
It's so funny you say this. I actually told in an interview with the New York Times, I said if aliens come to Earth and they want to know our culture, we should take them to a movie theater.
Mm.
And so it's funny you say this. Okay,
So what you're saying is I'm a New
I
York
would
Times interviewer. That's what you're saying.
there you go. Exactly. High level here. We're dealing with high level. I would say. Um, Gosh, I would say I'd want them to know about the human spirit.
Mhm.
Okay, I got one. I hope you saw it. I
Goodness.
would have them watch Cinderella Man.
I
Mm.
have not seen it.
Okay, see, Jared, you and I are gonna have to talk later off camera. So Cinderella Man is with I can see his face. It's coming. The hamster in my brain with Gladiator. Not
Mm.
Denzel, but
No,
Russ something.
uh,
Russell
Russell
Crowe.
Crowe.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
So Russell Crowe plays a fighter, and it's going through the Great Depression, and he's a boxer, and he's got a family. Everyone's at home. He's starving. He's a middleweight or middleweight to heavyweight. And
Hmm.
during a fight, he breaks his hand. They don't pay him. He's can't feed the family. Long story short, he goes on to become the world champion
Okay.
and but he goes through this poverty story. And, it's this story about the human will and perseverance and overcoming odds and never giving up. And when I was going through a very, very, very rough time, I thought I had lost everything. And I went in the middle of the afternoon after a deal had collapsed for us to raise money. And I went in the middle of the afternoon. I went and watched Cinderella Man. And the person that don't give up before the miracle mindset,
Hmm.
Mm.
that thing that's in the human spirit, that's in any film you see, I think I would want to show the aliens why humans are so beautiful in that they keep trying
Mm-hmm.
and they don't give up. And I would want them to understand what makes humans special and show them
Okay.
Cinderella Man.
Okay.
Nice.
Good. Good. All right. Just four more questions. Who is
All
your
right.
favorite Disney villain?
I like dogs, so I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Cruella de Vil.
Yes.
Ooh.
So
But wait, you
I
like
love dogs.
dogs.
I like the when you said favorite villain, I'm
Hmm.
looking at it not like I like her. I'm saying top villain,
Hmm.
like I don't like you because I like dogs and she's skinning puppies to get her
Yeah.
coat.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, so top villain would be Cruella de Vil.
Okay.
She's
And
killing puppies for her coat.
I just
Dalmatian puppies.
and that's when villains were really villains. I don't know what they are now.
Right.
They're
Yeah.
doing some wrong
Yeah.
things where they could be on the side of right. No, we were
Right.
killing
Right.
puppies in the
He was
1930s.
killing puppies for a coat. He's
Yes.
like, go find me some puppies and skin them.
Yes.
Like,
Okay.
that's cruel.
Hmm.
Who is your favorite black superhero?
Uh, Black Panther.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah, straight up, easy.
Who is your
Wakanda.
Wakanda forever?
Yeah.
Who is your favorite black character who is not black
Who is
and
not?
who is not black? For instance, some
Who
people
is
have
your
said
favorite character who is not black?
yes, like
Favorite
Meaning
black
Mufasa.
character.
somebody who acts black.
No, it's like okay. Some people have said Mufasa, Bumblebee from Transformers.
Oh.
Yeah,
Got it. The character is blackish.
yeah,
Hmm.
The character is blackness.
yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Bumblebee was interesting.
Hmm.
That's a tough one. I would say, hmm, I don't know. You played it earlier. I'm gonna go with James Earl Jones in
Hmm.
Lion King. I'm going with the dad.
Yeah.
James's voice is just, and he
Wow.
really, even with Oh, you know what? No. Can I do Darth Vader?
Oh yes. Yeah.
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 I
Yeah.
could do Darth Vader since, it was James.
Yeah.
Yeah.
James was in there.
Okay.
I feel
Okay.
like this is like two Mufasa and Darth Vader are like two
Yeah.
sides of a black dad. You got like
Yeah.
your funny, psycho
Yeah.
black dad, and then you
Yeah.
got your black dad that's like on your ass.
Yeah. If you
Okay.
do not do your homework, I'm going to come and kill you now. It's like,
Okay.
you know, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Luke, I am your father,
Yes,
So,
yes. And that
yep.
was an amazing impersonation of Chainsmokers.
So we'll go with Darth.
Okay, okay,
Well,
okay.
because I remember when people lost their
Yeah,
minds that Darth Vader was a black man.
yeah,
It was like,
Mm.
yeah.
no. People were mad. People were upset. It's like, yes, and
And all right, final question. Who is
okay.
your favorite rapper turned actor?
I'm biased
Okay, uh-oh.
because I worked with her, so I'm going with Queen Latifah.
Yes.
Ooh, that's a good
And
one.
I'm
Yeah.
going with Queen Latifah. So I was her product manager on Queen Rain's album. I helped her win a Grammy with it. The back album art is she's taking a picture next to her brother's gravestone, and the photographer is actually standing up on a ladder taking that picture. And I was standing right next to the photographer as he took that picture. And he felt responsible for her brother's death. He was a police officer, and she bought him a motorcycle, and he
Mm.
died on that motorcycle. And so she felt, and that album was dedicated to her brother.
Mhm.
And I'll never forget when they did Set It Off.
Mhm.
And if you know that, Jared, you didn't see it, so I'm not even gonna ask you about it.
I
I
saw
was
Set
I
It
was gonna
Off.
you did?
Yes.
I'm shocked.
Right.
Okay. So so there's Demarcus, you know he's over there typing, looking up what
Right,
is
right. He's
said
looking at it
what.
right. He does this all the time.
He's like, I saw it. Did you see his fingers start moving when he said?
Oh my
So,
goodness.
so, so she then set it off, and then that scene in the Impala 6-4 where she's not getting out, and she lights that cigarette, and she lights that
Yes.
cigarette, and she starts crying, and she's like, and then she starts driving, and the bullets start coming, and she gets out the car, and I'm like, oh man, it's like one of the best death scenes ever in
Mhm,
cinema. Is such a great F. Gary Gray was on his game. It brings back Scarface.
mhm.
It's Taxi Driver. It's Falling Down. It's all those in this, and you got these four black women doing their thing. It's just such a beautiful film. And that was the film that got us to deal with Vibe magazine to be able
Mm.
to do the Urban World Film Festival. So I
Oh.
would, and when she did Bessie Smith, and when she did,
Mhm,
she's done so many different characters, and the range of these women that she's done.
Mhm.
I'd say you got to do Queen Latifah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's a
That's a
great
great
Yeah,
choice.
answer.
All right.
yeah.
So I have one final question. I know I said that was the last one, but I have one more. This is just more
Okay.
personal for us, me
Yeah,
and
yeah.
DeMarcus. Do you have any advice for a podcast as a successful entrepreneur?
I mean, you guys hit 100 episodes. I should be asking you. We've been thinking about doing a podcast where I interview just directors, and
Ooh.
that way you get the creators, and you just do directors, because everybody interviews the stars, but nobody interviews the directors.
Yes.
And
That's a good
I
point.
was
Yeah.
thinking of a podcast that's just directors, and
Mm.
um I want to know how you finance the picture. I want to know how you shot it. I want to know how you got the rights for it. Like, dive into that.
Hmm.
Anyway, but that's something we were looking at. So I should be asking you. But
Wow.
um, I think everything is perseverance. I
Mm.
think it's pushing through the wall of, on the other side of quit
Hmm.
is there's great beauty and opportunity there. And I think that's the thing that I would say to anybody and everybody is that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I would love that podcast. We have interviewed some voice directors and some creative people on this podcast, and they give us the most insight. So that would be something
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
really love. And if you need a co-host, we right
Yeah.
here. We
Yeah.
available.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, guys, you can email any question that you have for us in the future to blackgeekenergy@gmail.com. Our Instagram is Black Geek Energy. Our Facebook is Black Geek Energy. Blue Sky, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, and Threads is Black Geek Energy. Then on Twitter, it's BGE_pod. DeMarcus, did you know that we had a Patreon?
I didn't know we have a Patreon. Did you know that it's only $3 a month?
What? That's
10
crazy.
cents a day.
That is
You
crazy.
you get a small coffee instead of a large, you got us.
For the whole month. And Stacy, I don't understand. I just have to make you understand how amazing this interview has been. We have been trying
Hmm.
to get you on the show for so long. I sent out Instagram DMs. I found your director of marketing. I did
Yeah.
everything, and I finally got to you. And this interview was everything that I thought it could be
Amazing.
and
Amazing.
more. You have gave us such good insight on Movie Pass. You have gave us such good uh, um, knowledge and insight into your experience. And we just have to thank you, thank you, thank you for this interview. And thank you again for Movie Pass for sponsoring this podcast. And we really
Mhm.
appreciate the love and support that you have shown us and what we have always, always, always shown the Movie Pass. So thank you again for this delightful interview.
Well, I want to thank you guys, and this was the most fun interview that I've ever done. Your questions and your format and playing the game. By the way, Demarcus, was that game, or did you pull those clips, or is that a game that
No, no,
has those clips?
I had to go and like find each clip and like, turn it into a thing.
So So I that my hat is off. That is dope. I love that, and I've never seen such an in-depth interview with so many different things going on. And so I think you guys are onto a great format, and I hope you just grow and grow and you're big. And one day when you're really big, you better have me back on the show or I'm gonna talk shit about you. I'm gonna be like, yeah, when they was small, but now that they got a TV show deal, I
Oh,
asked to go
wow.
on, and they were like, "Well, we interviewed Movie Pass once. We don't need to do it twice." I'm gonna be
No.
out in front of the studio throwing breadcrumbs and stuff, and y'all
Oh,
walk out.
no. No, we could never forget the great Stacy Spikes and the amazing movie pass ever, ever, ever.
Y'all heard this, so when they're big, he said it on record. We got a clip of it.
Yeah.
He's
Mhm.
gonna have me back on when they're really big. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
recorded this.
Okay, guys, that was our interview, and our time is up with Stacy. Thank you so much. And until the next episode, VGE out.
GE out.
Thanks, you guys.